Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk with Carrie Jemii. Yes, it's Tuesday and it's 7:30, and I am so excited. As always, today's show is going to be talking about self-love, and I have an amazing guest co-host. Her name is Priscilla McCants, full of love. She stay in the middle, so I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in with us, you guys. Hi, Priscilla. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, how's everyone doing this evening?
Exactly. Hi, everyone. And we are so glad that you guys decided to tune in. So before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that this is the last show for this month, and we'll be entering in the month of February. As I indicated before, February, I'll probably be talking about relationships and different things each week. So I know I wanted to start off with self-love because it's important that you establish self-love before you can even get into a relationship with anyone else. And also before you can even get a great relationship with God, because you have to love what He created so that He can be have an appreciation in your relationship. So I'm going to define self love for tonight based on what I found on the internet. And that was self love is a regard for one's own well being and happiness. And it basically said, don't get it confused with being narcissistic, or and it went further to say even being conceited, because it's a difference. It's a fine line. We want you to love yourself, but it comes with, boundaries of being humble with your love for yourself, if that makes sense. So now that's the definition that I got from the internet. But Miss Priscilla, um, life coach, love coach, relationship coach, everything. Give us your definition of what you think is self-love.
Okay. Well, I don't have a definition from the dictionary. I can just kind of tell you based off of some things that I've gone through in my life and how I view self-love for myself.
Okay.
Um, Basically, it's wholeness to me.
Mhm.
It's divine confirmation. It's that
Wow.
sense of purpose,
Yes.
and it's basically you making yourself happy and not depending on someone else for your happiness. So that's how I define self-love for me.
That's a perfect definition. I mean, I was going to add, I don't even have nothing to add. But when you said wholeness, they hit it on the head, and just knowing how to also put yourself first to me is also a good way of knowing that you have a healthy self-love. It's when you are able to, put yourself first and not let everyone be ahead of you in different aspects of your life, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So you mentioned a little bit about your journey, right? To finding out self-love. So I'm going to go ahead and let you share first, and then I'll come behind you on my journey too. And then as we talk about this, I want the audience to, interject some questions or what they feel they struggle most with when it comes to self-love. But you go ahead and share, how you got to where you are today with your self-love.
Okay. Um, I when I think about the journey and the process that it took for me to get to where I am today, I think about how I was that person who was a people pleaser. So I gained my happiness from the validation of others. And
Mhm.
it continued, it kind of got me to a point where I couldn't function. I was double minded. I really couldn't come up with my own answers without looking for other
Mhm.
people to give me validation. So, in my journey and my quest to find out who Priscilla is, it took one moment for me to look in the mirror at myself and say, who am I? What do I want from me? Do I trust me? And I had to let go, and I had to let God. And one morning I got up and I looked in the mirror and I said to myself, I am beautiful. I am enough. I am
Mhm.
worthy. You know, I can make decisions for me and not be worried about what others would think. So it took me some time to get there, but today I can say that the decisions that I make are for me. I am happy with being me, and I'm not this no facade for no one else. And that's the big thing. The biggest thing is wiping away what others view you as, and just know who God called you to be. And that's where I am in this moment.
Absolutely. I would say my journey to self-love, just for people to know, like you can't, in order to establish relationship with people, you have to be vulnerable, right? And let people know what you've been through. So I don't know who's viewing tonight. I can't even see who's on it. If you don't make a comment, I don't know you're here, right? But I appreciate everyone being here. But I do know that for me personally, self-love was, like, as you stated, a difficult journey to get to. I don't even think I established it healthy, like a healthy one, to like maybe my early 30s, because as a child, your self-esteem, your worth, and unfortunately, all those things are sometimes determined by others, and we ingest others' opinions of us, and they essentially become our reality, right? So for me, everyone would tell me what they thought I should be, what they thought I should look like, or what colors they thought I should wear, and that was what became my makeup, right? Or if, just to be frank, if I had a significant other or someone like me, that's where I pulled my self-love from. It never came from me. So when those things shifted in life, then so did my self-love, because it was built on somebody else's validation, like you were saying, versus my own. And I think that it's important that parents know this, and even that telling your kids and telling your kids you love them and, oh, they're pretty or whatever is one thing, but helping them establish true self-love is another. And we'll talk a little bit more in detail of how you get there. But I don't see any questions yet, but in your journey to self-love, what was it that you said a light bulb went off? Like, what was it that before that got to you to that light bulb moment?
Well, prior to the light bulb moment, I dealt with a lot of insecurities, low self-esteem, looking for validation from others, just kind of going through a journey of, am I good enough?
Right.
And throughout the process, it caused me some hard times. It caused me some situations that, I could have avoided if I knew what my worth was. And so over time of dealing with many obstacles that kept me bound, it just kind of got me to a place where I needed to take a look at myself. I was the common denominator in a lot of those situations. So I had to take a look and step back and look at myself and figure out what it was that, I was looking for, and what did I want from me? Because in order for somebody else to make me happy, I had to make myself happy. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to make myself happy without having others as a part of that circle of my happiness. And, over time of, listening and to different, especially Sarah Jakes was a big factor for me in finding for me to look in the mirror at myself and define who I was and who I wanted to be. And basically I took some time and I in 2016, and I just kind of stepped back and I put myself in a box where it was just me, where I had to deal with just me. And in that process, I began to talk to God, and I began to get a sense of purpose, a sense of who I was and who I wanted to be. And that peace came over me, that peace of me making decisions that's best for me.
Right.
Was an eye opener for me to make me feel as though I can continue this journey and know that I have given it my all, and not needing that from anyone else. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that having someone or having a significant other is not something that I want or wanted, but I needed to kind of figure out what was best for me first. And I needed to figure out what I wanted for me before I can be good for someone else.
And that's key right there. Because if you're not good for yourself, it's no way that you can be good for someone else. Yes. I mean, I mean, you can, if people do it all day, they get into relationships and they wonder why things don't go the way it should. And not even just a relationship with the opposite sex. You can even have friendships where if you don't particularly love yourself, you can inject certain emotions and energies and feelings onto that person.
Yeah.
And they don't have, sometimes even as a young person, they don't have the strength to hold that up. I remember because part of my journey, I was teased a lot, right? And so I was teased for being dark. So I went through this whole colorism thing, right? And I was going to hit on colorism a little tonight. I had a guest that may show up. Hopefully she does. She didn't went viral over the weekend. So now she texted me at the last minute, said she got a publish. So I don't know. She may show up. Hopefully she does. But colorism played a major part in self-love for me. And I think it plays a major part in our community as a whole. It's almost like one of those things, like when people think about racism, when it comes to Caucasian people, and they be like, well, I'm not racist, or racism is nothing. All lives matter. Black lives don't matter. It's one of those same kind of philosophies where people don't understand that when you are of a dark skin complexion, how people make you kind of push you to the side as if, you know, you're second best or whatever it is. And as you deal with that and you go through those emotions, it definitely frames who you are as a person. And I would think it would have stopped, right? You know, at my age, you know, we in two different generations. And I think you shared a little bit that you dealt with that too. Being in high school and, you know, if they couldn't get the fair-skinned girl, then you were, you know, next best choice. And I just want people to understand that it is important that you, when you are using your words with people, that you use words of life, you know, and we want to continue to tell people things that's good to hear. I don't know why we feel like when someone's a certain color, size, that we have to, you know, treat them a certain way, because people all have feelings. And I remember that's one reason why I started my organization, I'm Pretty Too. And I created that workbook is because I was like, I don't want any woman or any person to go through what I went through, and allowing other people's opinion to become their reality, like really shape them as a person, because it takes years of you stripping that away. I mean, I had, and for me, I went to a grammar school where I was with the same kids from kindergarten to 8th grade. So I went through it every year, the same kids. So by the time I got to high school, it was like kind of a wrap for me when it came to self-worth or anything like that. And so I wanted to make sure that that didn't happen, because we didn't have a lot of programs. You had Girl Scouts and things like that, but you didn't have a lot of programs that came in and taught women how to really love themselves, you know, how to really take the time out to not to shut everyone else's opinions out, but really listen to the opinions of people that love them, whether that's their mother or other people, because sometimes we keep too many toxic people around us as well. And they also become what we become as well, if that makes sense. So but I just feel like, you know, we all have to take the time, like you said, whether it's with God, whether it's with yourself, whatever you need to do, and establish who you are. And one way of doing that is, like you mentioned, is purpose. And once you know your purpose, you're able to, you know, actually find self-love some more, because you'll be happy in what you're doing as well. You know, you have anything else you want to chime in? I had a question. I see you came up.
Okay. Did you want me to go ahead?
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So just kind of listen to what you just stated. It just kind of took me back to childhood. And I know for myself, a lot of my issues stem from childhood, the growing up, the as you mentioned, the name calling, the darkness, and knowing that a lot of, you know, guys back in my time coming up uh, kind of weighed more so towards the fair skinned young ladies opposed to the dark skin. So that was a struggle for me, and always trying to prove myself because I was dark and always trying to fit in.
Mhm.
Um, it really hindered me from knowing that it didn't take that, you know, knowing that I was just as good being, you know, dark, being a woman, or being whoever. I had to get it within me that my skin color, my skin tone shouldn't have been a factor. But as a kid, I didn't see it that way. You know, as a kid, it really held me mentally bound. And it also went into my teenage years of just trying to always fit in and not really understanding that you it has to be within your heart, you know, and who you are. It's not just on your outer appearance, it's your inner appearance. But, you know, being young, being a teenager, you don't get that aspect of things. But as I got older, I really understand now that it's not necessarily my complexion or my outer appearance. It's more so my inner appearance. And it's, you know, the knowledge that I have now, the wisdom that I have now puts me in a much better place than I was as a young girl struggling with that whole colorism thing, you know. And it was really deep. It was deep.
And it's still deep. I mean, like I said, I created I'm Pretty Too, and the name itself came from me letting people affirm themselves as they say it. I'm pretty too. That's what self-love is. It's identifying for yourself what is pretty, what is beautiful for you, what is acceptable for you. It's not basing it on anyone else's opinion. And that's why it's called self-love. It's self. It's not Sam. It ain't Bob. It's not even mom or dad. It's your own personal journey with loving yourself and loving who God created you to be. You know, one of the questions we had here was, how much do you feel self-awareness plays in building of self-love? I mean, I think being aware of yourself is a lot, but as you get older, you have to have a lot of more self-awareness, right? I had a girlfriend that was just here with me recently, and we did a lot of exercises of self-awareness because we was like, hey, we haven't hung out since we were like kids. So it was different being with two adult women, but we were able to mirror and show each other like some weaknesses. Like, do you have to do this? Or this may hurt me. This sounds a little bit judgmental. So sometimes you having self-awareness comes from other people making you aware of things so that you can become a better person. You want to answer the question?
Well, I would say my self-awareness came into place when I realized that I value too much of what people thought of me, opposed to really, you know, having that love and that purpose for myself. I didn't have it. So I'll allow other people to affect my thoughts and my actions and how I felt. But I became aware. I really became aware of that was holding me back. That was really taking a toll on me. And to the point where it was causing me to appear weak. And I'm not a weak person at all. And I'm strong. But because I did not feel that within me at first, it definitely played a part on how people took advantage of my vulnerability, of not recognizing that I am strong, that I am enough, that I am valuable, that I am worthy. So I had to become aware of those things first before I could stand strong and have confidence to know that I can walk forward and be who I am with or without people, you know.
That was excellent. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and because that is self-awareness, like you just said, knowing that you are strong, and like I heard someone say recently that they don't like to be called strong, or I had someone said they don't want to be called an alpha woman. But that's also being aware that those things are not a negative. You know, of course we deal with the stereotype of being the strong Black woman, but being strong doesn't necessarily mean you don't have a soft side. It's just saying that you are not easily phased, I guess I would say, you're not really easily broken by certain things. And those women that are easily broken doesn't still mean that you're strong, because you can still be resilient. You know, it's a beauty in every aspect, from each line, from each, measure, right? So I'm going to go ahead and move forward with some other questions. So what are some signs of a healthy self-love? How does someone know that, they're good? They have healthy self-love.
Oh, healthy self-love is being able to be just being yourself, being at peace with yourself. and knowing that no matter what, nobody can take that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's healthy self-love to me. Just self-care, just, focusing on your goals, your vision, your value, your purpose in life. And if you stay aligned with that, I feel like that's the healthiest feeling and moment that I have at this time in my life, is just being at peace with who I am, and not, you know, being stressed, being worried, and walking into what's for me.
Mm-hmm.
And what's for you, let it be, and enjoy that. And that's going to give you that healthy place where that that you're striving to accomplish what it is for you, and no one else.
Yep. That sounds good. All I would add is also, for me, is being okay with being okay with
Yes.
yourself, being okay with situations. It's just, not having to need what we said in the beginning, anyone else's validation. Like, you can walk in your truth no matter what. And I know another healthy self-love sometimes is being able to walk in a room and own it, whether it's a woman or a man. I know we talking from a woman's perspective, but women are attracted to confidence just like men are attracted to a confident woman. So knowing who you are and being able to walk in a room and hold your head up and just know that that's who I am, who I am. You know what I mean? It's showing that who a healthy self-love. And if I have a conversation with you, it's not narcissistic. It's more like a humble thing. So it's like, dang, you came in here like, you was this person. And when I talk to you, you just have a beautiful spirit, So, that's another way of knowing too, is that your confidence is just so there that it's recognized by people when you walk into the room,
Yeah.
So, if we had to help some people tonight, what would you say are some things that people can do to increase their self-love? What are some tools maybe you use? And I know we talked about journaling before in our own one-on-one conversations, but what are some tools that people can use to establish a healthy self-love?
I would say the number one tool that I use for my own healthy self-love was that communication, that contact with God. Being able to discern, have that discernment in that conversation where God leads me and guides me. That's a tool for me. I have that conversation every morning, be it is scripture, be it is a song, a motivation, being a word, but it helps me in knowing that I'm okay. As you mentioned, I'm okay. I'm at peace. Another tool that I use is just taking some time, just for me. Taking that time to do things for me that makes me feel good, and not necessarily focus on the next person and how they're going to feel and how they're going to think. Just having that moment for me is a tool as well. If it's once a week, I just take that time for me.
Yeah.
Also, as you mentioned, journaling. Journaling is my biggest tool that I use to kind of keep me focused and motivated. And my vision boards. My vision boards are king for me. I wake up in the morning. I look at what I have on there. It gives me that strength when I'm feeling weak, when I'm feeling vulnerable. I look at those boards and I say to myself, hey, today is the day. You got to get up. You got to keep it going. You can't give up. I'm building a legacy. So I want to make sure that I have some tools in place to help me stay focused and help me stay motivated. My affirmations, I am enough. I am worthy. I am beautiful.
Right. No, absolutely. Right.
Stay on top of the game and not allowing the devil to come in and steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah, I like that. I use a couple of those tools myself. Definitely, like I talked about the I'm Pretty Too workbook. It has that in there, journaling. It has kind of a vision board. Like you said, because sometimes when you can see those things, automatically you start to live them. Just because you're doing that, and those affirmations, like being in the mirror and talking to yourself every morning when you wake up and letting yourself know that I can conquer the day. I am this, I am that, I am whatever you want to be. You know, you tell yourself that every day and have that conversation with yourself. Some other things I would say is that I wrote here on the side. So I'm looking to the side. That's why I'm looking at my notes. But stop comparing yourself to others.
Yes.
If you want to establish self-love for who you are, you can't be strolling social media or say you're not comparing yourself to others, but you are looking at the next person and you're looking at what they have, whether it's not a physical attribute. It could be something that they have, like a nice car or whatever, but being okay with what you have and what you were blessed with at this season, in this moment. So no comparing yourself to others. I talked about this already, but not worrying about others' opinions. Like I used to tell, I heard this before and I repeated it. Like if you were what everybody else wanted you to be, everybody's opinion, then who would be you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you were with everything somebody else said, whether they say, "Oh, your hair is too dark. You should lighten your hair up," or "You shouldn't wear that color. You shouldn't wear that color lipstick," or "You shouldn't do this." If you were doing everything someone else did, then you wouldn't be able to identify your self-identity. You wouldn't be who you are. You know. Another thing I would say to establish self-healthy love is being able to allow yourself to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to fail in life. You're not going to always make the right decisions. You're not going to always do things that may be considered Christian or whatever. And so you can't stay in those moments and beat yourself up. You can't waddle in those moments. You have to be able to find strength in yourself to push past those feelings and these lack of something because something happened and you didn't do it. I mean, when I was going through real estate school, it did challenge me a lot because I was like, oh my God, if I don't pass this test. But when I finally passed it, because I did not give up and I did not let those mistakes hinder me, I felt so much like the confidence I had when I passed it. Oh, it surpassed everything, and it overflowed into other areas, of my life. Also remember that your value does not lie in how your body looks. Okay. And that your body can change. I mean, if you want it to change. Some people are confident and happy with being, voluptuous or whatever you call it, big bone, whatever we used to say back in the day, where other people are not. So if you're not comfortable and that's hindering you from having a healthy self-love, just take the necessary steps. You can go back and watch my video from last week where I talked about diet and exercise and take some of those nuggets out of there and work on your outer appearance. But even if you don't start there, don't let that be the value to define you as well. Okay. Because you can be, like you said before, beauty is not always coming from the outer appearance. It can be something from within, right?
Yes.
So don't let those outer exterior things be the defining factor for you. Let me see, what else do I have here? Don't be afraid to let go of toxic people.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you have the wrong people around you and they can drain that self-love from you. They can drain that positivity from you. So it's important that you, kind of, if someone is not making you feel good, if they're not making you feel important, remove them. And sometimes removing them, they get themselves together and they check themselves and they come back and respect you and love you the way you need to be loved. Yeah. And I would just also say, trust yourself to make good decisions. That would be my last thing I would say about having a positive self-love, is just trusting yourself and decisions that you make. I know I used to always feel like, I needed other people to tell me what to do. Like I'm calling everybody, like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And I had to realize that I could trust me. Yeah. You okay to tell yourself what to do? I'm okay to make this decision on my own, So that would be the last, I guess, nugget I would say you would need to establish, a good, healthy self-love. Yeah. Anything, did that make you want to have a comment or you?
I do. I wanted to also I made myself some little mental notes here. Personal issues. you want to definitely deal with the personal issues. You want to address those, whatever that is that you're dealing with, because it can be a distraction, and it can lead to false hope, and it can lead to, that unnecessary stress where you can't move ahead and you can't see the light because you're walking in this dark moment because you don't take the time to deal with those personal issues. I can tell you that that was a phase for me that I had to go through, that I had to deal with those dark moments because they really had me mentally struggling, and I just couldn't move forward, which allowed some situations to kind of creep in on me that if I was in my right mind, um, as far as dealing with some things from my past, I would have been a little bit more focused. So you want to make sure you have clarity. That's a part of self-love, clarity in any decision that you make. And just because something may not be right in this moment, something may not be right that you're going through, doesn't define who you are as a person. You have to know how to deal with that issue, get through it, and know that if it's not good and you're not in a good place and you don't have peace with it, you got to let it go, because it's not going to do anything but keep you stagnated. And so I had to realize that in a lot of issues that I was dealing with, no matter how you may care, no matter how you may love someone, doesn't necessarily mean that person is to follow you into your next journeys, or that's a part of your purpose at that particular time. They say people come in your life for a season and for a reason. Understand that. And this is something I had to kind of teach myself, and I had to really get over these last several months, is that when you know that you have given your all, be okay with that. Be at peace with that. And know that you cannot stop living because someone else may not be happy or with your decision that you make that's best for you. Have that focus, set those goals, have those your values in place, and most importantly, set boundaries. Set boundaries where people cannot attack you mentally, that will affect the love that you have for yourself, and providing that care for yourself, because you're so worried about somebody else's opinion of you. When you know that you have that connection with God and what you're doing is for you, and God is with you, and you know that God is with you, that's all that matters. Pick yourself up, as my father-in-law used to tell me. That was his favorite saying: pick yourself up, because if you don't, nobody else will. And continue to move forward.
This is true. I love it. That was good. One other thing I think we have a question that came up here that says, how much should we truly be in our mirror? Because most of us face everywhere more than our own mirror. I guess I think you said, how much should we self reflect more than reflect on others? So I think a lot of people are more concerned about others than themselves. I think you mentioned this, but I think that self reflection is something that you should do every day.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not the same person I was when I was 10, 21, 30. I think as you mature as an individual, your outlook on life, your wisdom changes. So with that comes changes of friends, changes of relationship. You're not attracted to the same person you was attracted to when you was in high school. You're like, what? Some people look like, what was I thinking? Because as you grow, your taste change, things that you want changes. And so I think you should self-reflect daily, is what I would say.
Yes, I definitely agree. That self-reflection happens for me every morning. I look in the mirror at myself and I say, what is it that I want to accomplish today? What is it that I want to do to make me feel good? What is it that I want to do to give back to someone else, to help someone else? So I kind of self-meditate on that daily. And I think that to do that, it really helps you in your focus. It helps you in your daily journey to just be able to take what happened yesterday think it over and let it go and move on to the next, just go to the next day. Because when you hold on to things, it prevents you from moving forward. I promise you, I'm here to tell you, I'm a witness to it. For a long time, I was, that moment of being a victim. I didn't want to continue to be a victim. I wanted to, know that I had worth and I had value, and that I go back to weakness because I felt for a long time that weakness overshadowed me, and I felt like weakness overshadowed me because of lack of knowledge and lack of understanding. And so once I began to really pay attention and really began to educate myself, I became wiser. And once you become wiser, it takes you to a whole nother level, and a whole entire level that some moments I'm in awe myself that, my whole thought process has changed. And that's because of educating. When you don't know much, you can't do much. And so I'm a firm believer. Every day I'm trying to learn something new. Every day.
Right. Yeah. I was looking at the comment on the side, but yes, one of my friends talk about that all the time is self-development. You have to continue to develop yourself. I mean, I don't care how many degrees you have. Yes. People can have millions of degrees and still not a smart person, or even have established self-love. So you have to do other work when it comes to yourself, to be a better, well-rounded individual and person. Another, I was going to say, so when we were talking about self-love and how important it is. So what would you say? How would you say that? Why do you feel it's important? Like, how does it relate to anything else? So let's say I don't want to work on self-love. What can potentially happen to me?
If you don't want to work on self-love?
Right. If maybe, I don't know. Like, I just want to show people the correlation. Like what I guess if you have poor self-love and you don't work on it, you don't understand how important it is, how your life can be affected by that.
I just kind of feel if you don't work on self-love, it leaves you at a very low point. It takes away from, who you can be when you don't focus on you first. When you don't, those dark moments, those voices in your head, if you don't deal with those voices, it prevents you from being a better person. And who doesn't want to be a better person? And Absolutely. Everybody has something different that they struggle with on a daily basis, and you have to take whatever that is and you have to deal with it. You have to tackle that, because that's stopping you. That whatever that thing is, that's what's preventing you from moving forward and being who you can be, the best you can be when you don't deal with those issues. So I feel that self-love is something you should want to have. It should, because it puts you in a place of peace, and just knowing that you can accomplish whatever it is you set out to, and when you don't do that, when you just let everything go by the wayside, that's when the mental issues start. That's when the distractions start. That's when the enemy is able to get in, and attack you and destroy you if you allow it to, for self-destruction. Because if you don't develop self-love, you're going to have self-destruction. So which one you want to go with? Which one you want to choose?
That's what I wanted you to say. Exactly. If you don't establish it, if you don't feel like it's something that's important that you should put in the forefront of your life, you will make poor decisions. Yes. You will have poor decisions when it comes to your relationships with others, your poor decisions when it comes to your career. I mean, I can't explain how having a healthy self-love can establish you having promotions at work, because now you're able to be, your best self. You're able to you just start to shine. Like I said, everything that you touch will start to look different when you establish self-love. Exactly. So, and I just task everyone who's watching or who will watch this in the future to establish a healthy self-love, because you will see the benefits of it in your life. Yes. Once you establish it. So, So I don't have any more questions on my list. I was going to try to see if we had any questions come from anybody else. How vital is the words you use and how you reference your being within and without? I would say that your words are powerful. Um, was experiencing some young ladies not too long ago, and we were talking about that. Just dealing also with the affirmations you were saying, and even the vision boards.
Yeah.
What you say out your mouth can manifest something in your life. So if you're not telling yourself, "I am enough," if you're not telling yourself, "I am worthy," those things won't really manifest themselves. You have the power in your mouth, out your mouth, to create who you want to be. So it's very important to use words of power, words of action, because those things will eventually become your life. They will manifest themselves and come into fruition for you. Do you want to answer the question? I know you were trying to get yourself together. I put you on mute because I didn't want the background.
I was losing service around here. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But yeah, you definitely have to speak life to yourself all the time. I will just jump to the next question. If you want to come back, I'll let you come back to it. What do you need to be at more peace with yourself? Go ahead, you can answer it.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear you.
It's okay. What do you need to be at more peace with yourself?
What do you need to be at more peace? For me, I need God. I need God to be because without God, there is no understanding of self, I would say. And when I have that moment and I talk, and that discernment comes over me, the Holy Spirit speaks to me, things start to happen, people start to come into my life, which helps me understand a lot about me. I think for me, I need God. That's who helps me in my peaceful moments.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say the same thing. So I can't say that I could call on anyone else other than God to be the person that gave me peace in any situation. You can also, I got a comment that says you can also use counseling and searching inward and self-reflection. I agree, Candice. Those are also some things you can do to establish peace in your life.
Yes.
So, do we have any other questions out there? I think I want to make sure I didn't pass up anybody's questions. Someone did indicate, this is not me also, I know my name pops up, but that's how YouTube does it. But someone said, you're right, a rear view mirror is only good for driving, that you can't move forward looking backwards. You have to be progressive in your life. That's so true.
Yes.
So at this time, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and let you just give a little bit about what you do. And I know you have a book that's out. I have your card here, broken into pieces. So you can talk a little bit about your book and what you're doing right now, and we get people to follow you on all your social media platforms.
Okay. Well, thank you. So yes, August of 2020, I walked out on faith and published my first book, which is called Broken into Pieces, Becoming Stronger Through My Journey, which more so is a reflection of some of the things that I went through in my life that I had to really let go. And it's at a point now that I've let those things go that I don't even remember some of the things, because that's how I was just so at peace with releasing it so that I could move forward. And along with the book, I actually have a journal to go side by side with it, because journaling was a method that I used to help me overcome some of the things that I was dealing with. So it's just a guide. My journal is a guide to just kind of help you on your daily struggle on releasing things and walking by faith and allowing God to lead you and guide you.
Okay.
I am also a life coach. Most recently, I received my certification for life coaching. So right now, I am working on my niche. So I'm trying to develop my niche of what I really want to focus on. So you will be able to get information on that pretty soon. And another blessing that God has stored upon me. I am a first time agency owner for Farmers Insurance. I stepped out of the state after 23 years and
Mm-hmm.
opened up my own insurance agency. And by the grace of God, I am walking in this moment. It is truly a dream come true. I am really very blessed. And now I have an opportunity to leave a legacy for my family, which was my biggest concern, which was my biggest focus of just trying to figure out where I wanted to be, 10, 15 years from now. So I'm just in a moment where I'm just very grateful. I have my website, which is Priscilla Consulting
Okay.
llc.com. On the website, you are able to find information out about how to order my books, my journals, the other products that I offer, as well as information about my coaching sessions and my insurance agency. Definitely, I offer auto, homeowners, renters, and life insurance. Life insurance being my specialty because I feel that that is most important over anything is making sure that you are protecting your family and your loved ones. So if I could be of any service for you, please do not hesitate to reach out. Now, as far as my social media outlets, I have my Facebook page, which is it's author underscore Priscilla on Facebook, and then on Instagram also it's author underscore Priscilla on Instagram. So those are my ways of being contacted via social media. And then if you would like to reach out to me personally, you can just give me a call as well. And my phone number, I'm going to give that to you. It's 708 So please, for anything that I can assist with, give me a call, be it the insurance, being just a conversation to help you get past the moment. I'm here. I do not mind helping because I remember being in those moments where I just really wanted someone to be there for me, to listen and to
Absolutely.
help guide me. So I want to pay it forward. So anybody I can help, please do not hesitate to give me a call.
Okay. We had two questions that came while you were giving your closing, so we can go ahead and address them real quick. You still got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Um, what if someone, we had talked about the peace question, so she had a follow-up question: is what if someone does not have a relationship with God? How do they establish peace?
Peace. I mean, hmm,
Mm.
I would really.
I would say, okay, I
I
would
would
say
say.
this.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
would
I'm
say,
sorry.
yeah, I would just say meditation.
Yes.
Um, Being able to meditate where you're kind of removing yourself and getting out of your own head. Meditation is a time where you can actually be quiet with oneself. There's a couple of apps out there. You got Calm, you have Abide, you have different. So if you have whatever phone you have, Android or iPhone, you can look into your app store and look for meditation apps. Also, I would say Oprah Winfrey has one with Deepak that are his meditations are amazing, but it is very soothing and very peaceful. And it's meditation allows you to, like, again, remove all distractions from your life and just focus on the moment. And that will give you sometimes a moment to focus on. And I kid you not, right hand, a peace comes over you when you're in meditation. And if you need help, like figuring out how to meditate, you can also YouTube meditation techniques. YouTube has a lot of people out there that are really into meditation. So you just Google, well, YouTube, go to YouTube and then go in a search engine and put meditation techniques, and you'll find a whole lot of videos on it.
Yes. Yes. I would add to that. Basically, just coming up with some affirmations also that kind
Mm-hmm.
of helps you to relax and to really understand and to find worth and value within you. Those affirmations really are helpful. I have a lot of them posted around my bedroom, around my house, because it just kind of gives me that sense of peace, of encouragement. Um, yeah, so I would just say affirmations are a way to help you in the moments of trying to find peace within.
Okay. The last question we see here from Donna McNulty is, how can parents help their kids with self-love? Well, for me, I would say, I try to go through that in my journal that I have that is really targeted towards the younger audience. You can help your kids by doing what you would do as an adult. I mean, you could take them in the mirror and have them get affirmations to themselves. I know one guy, he went viral on TikTok because he was walking with his daughter who was a little bit overweight, but the doctor said she was going to have like children diabetes or whatever. So that he took the time to work out with her. And as they were working out, he had her say affirmations to herself and say that I can do this. I can walk this next mile. I'm beautiful. I'm going to get this weight off of me. So the same things you would do as an adult, you can apply to your kids. If you want to, like for I'm Pretty Too, I have, parents purchase their kids mirrors. So you can purchase mirrors and things like that, even pocket mirrors that they can take to school with them and teach them how to speak to themselves in a positive way, so that when someone is attacking a child, because kids are very impressionable. So if someone's telling them something negative, most likely they're sponging it in. So, and you have to teach them techniques of how to extract those type of things from themselves. And one way is to do the opposite. So if someone say, "Oh, you're ugly" or whatever, you teach your child to say, "No, I'm beautiful. I'm handsome." This is for a young man or whatever. Because another thing, young men don't talk about this, but they deal with self-love. They deal with low self-esteem, and you can identify it. But it's unfortunate that we don't really have a lot of programs out there for young men that address young men that may have low self-esteem or whatsoever. But those are, I would say, as well as journaling and other things like that. I think the same techniques you use as an adult, you can apply to a child.
Yes, definitely. I would say, speaking life into your children is so important, so important. Having that time where you are able to listen to how their day was, and trying to help them with different issues that they may encounter. Give them compliments, daily compliments. You are, like you mentioned, you are enough. You are smart. You are very intelligent. Those things go a long way with children when they know that they are. Those type of words make them feel good about themselves. You want to make sure you start them very small, letting them know that you are good enough. You are, worthy of this. You can do this. I always told my son and my daughter, I don't want to hear the word can't. No, that's not a word that I wanted to come out of their mouth, because when you start that, it prevents you. It cripples you. You know what I'm saying? From pursuing who you can be. So eliminate certain words out of your vocabulary. When I hear my granddaughter say certain words, I tell them, no, you're not going to say that. And I try to encourage them by speaking life, by words of encouragement is my focus when it comes to kids, because as you mentioned, they are small, they are very impressionable. And when you start in that moment of showing them praise for what they do, no one can take that away from them as they get older.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that works too is providing them with tools that help identify themselves. Like I know you have people buy their kids dolls that look like them. You do things that make them feel confident about who they are, so that they don't feel like that they lack anything. So being able to do that also helps too, is creating an atmosphere for them to have a healthy self-love. Don't watch what they watch on TV, monitor what they watch and what images they are taking in, because they're going to naturally, as a child, compare themselves to what they see. So you have to be kind of the navigator of what they see and giving them that positive outlook on things and about self-love and self-esteem. Like, you have like books out there that talk about everything we're talking about. You just have to do the work and the research and make sure you just lay the great foundation in the beginning, because like we were saying, it starts early. Like I started feeling bad about myself all the way in kindergarten, so so you have to be that other positive energy for your child, and it's got to be consistent too. It's not that I didn't feel like my parents told me those things, but it's hard when you got two people telling you one thing, but then you go to school where you got 10, being bullied or teased. So you have to really also look for programs similar to I'm Pretty Too and other things to put your kids in so that they can continually and consistently get built up as an individual, because all that matters as an adult. If you don't start young and you kind of brush it under the carpet a little bit, it will play out in their adulthood. So just putting your kids in Boy Scouts and things that build up their confidence and things of that nature, all those tools will be successful for kids if you start young. Did you have something to say? I thought you were saying something.
I just want to say, you want to also be mindful of the words that you speak to your kids, that tearing them down and making them feel less than, those things in a moment of anger could be something that really, as a parent, you really feel as an effect. But long term, those words that you speak to your children over time will also tear them apart. And when we're not realizing, it's, my daughter now, she's 29 years old, and we have moments where we have conversations and we talk about some things that, as a parent coming up with her, as she was growing, and words that she held on to that I said, and in the moment that I said them, not really realizing that they were tearing her apart. And now, I'm in a moment where we're both in a moment where we're working together, and I'm building her confidence to let her know that you are worthy, that you are capable of doing whatever it is that you want to do. But as a parent, me myself was a young parent. I had my daughter when I was 18 years old. So I was in that stage of kind of watching what I saw my mom do, and the things that my mom said to me, I in turn said to my daughter. Not realizing that those things that my mom said to me sometimes, mentally had an effect on me. And I used that same strategy, with my daughter, which as she became an adult and she was able to sit down and have a conversation with me and inform me how those things affected her, it was just like a generational curse. And I said, we got to break this. We're not going to move forward with this same type of behavior when it comes to, my granddaughter. We're gonna change the cycle. So you definitely, what you speak to your kids, they're young, and you may feel that because they go about their day and they don't say anything to you about it, that it's not manifesting within them. And as they get older, it can come out, and they're gonna bring it back to you. So just in the moment, starting today, just making sure that the words that you speak are words of encouragement. I'm not saying don't discipline, but I'm saying be mindful of the words that you speak, because they definitely they can haunt you later on down the line.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and end our conversation tonight. This has been great. I absolutely appreciate, Priscilla, all your wisdom and your experience tonight. And I knew to call her to be on this particular show because she's a relationship coach as well. She say life coaching, but she helps with relationships. And I remember talking to her, and it helped put my perspective into my mind into a better perspective. And so definitely reach out to her. I definitely want to also let you guys know that I will have some courses that I'm releasing this spring called Love All of Me. It's a course series for adult women. So I'm going to provide that link. I did put the link out there on YouTube and Twitch, but they don't allow me to put comments on Facebook. So I'll try to come back and put that information out there, but you guys can sign up for that. Also, again, I mentioned I'm Pretty Too. So people who are dealing with their kids and young girls right now that may need some assistance, you can go to I'm Pretty Too and sign your daughter up. I have a program that I'm going to take online come also this summer too. So they'll be able to get the assistance and the help that they need, that I said that I wish that I had growing up. So tune in to a lot of things coming out down the pipeline, and always tune in to our shows every Tuesday at 7:30. Priscilla, did you have a last comment that you wanted to make?
Thank you for allowing me this opportunity this evening. It meant a lot. Just for sisters, from different mothers, for sisters coming together and being able to help one another is a very powerful movement. And I'm looking forward to working with you and networking with you in the future. But just, letting the next woman know that it's okay. It's okay to deal with whatever it is that you have bottled up in you, to release it, because that's the only way you're going to gain happiness. That's the only way you're going to have peace. And knowing that when you look in that mirror in the morning or at night, that you are good enough and that you are worthy. And if the next person don't see your value, then that person's not for you. But don't judge your life or value your life based off of actions from another person, reactions, words. You have to know that if you giving your all to whatever situation it may be in front of you, that's all that matters. And you keep it moving, and you know that at the end of the day, God got you.
And we'll leave with that note, because God does got you, and He got all of us. And I appreciate you all for viewing in and staying with us this hour. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye-bye.